Welcome back to the channel. I want to sit here and just have a little chat about the gaming industry because over the last, week or two, it's just gone back to being absolutely dreadful with the way these companies are treating their player base. It's been going on for years and years, but there was one little breakthrough, and the best game I've played in a long time is called It Takes Two. It was published by EA and it was developed by Hazelight Studios. There was not a single bug in that game. Not even one bug. There were no repetitive features. The developers said once you're done with the story, you're done. You can go back through, you can play again, you can do the mini games and stuff. But there's not going to be all of this looter shooter stuff where there's an end game and you've got all of this repetitive stuff and we keep adding new content to it. Once you're done, you're done. So once you complete that game, you know there's nothing else for it. They might add DLC at some point in the future, but there weren't any repetitive gameplay features. So you go on there's no bugs, you have a good time, you have a lot of fun. You leave that game fully satisfied. That's what we need as a gaming community, because then Outriders releases, and whether people like it or not, the game is in a really bad state. They had connectivity issues, the servers were an absolute mess for 4 days, and that was after 3 delays on the game, 5 years of development, and a month of an online demo. They heavily unbalanced the game. The Devastator was the worst class in the game by a long shot, the only class without special bullets. And a lot of players had to face being kicked out of groups because they chose to play as the Devastator. Matchmaking, crossplay is all bugged. And then, literally a week after the full release of their game, because Outriders is not a live service game, it's a fully released product. And a week later, they did a maintenance that didn't even require an update. They did back-end changes to nerf loads of stuff. That doesn't just include things that made the special bullets really bad to use. It also included taking away the ability to farm for legendaries through certain means in the game. Those being the hunts, the bounties, and Historian. And that's the same thing they did to us during the demo with the chest run. They stopped legendaries being able to drop from chests. The worst part about it is they're sitting there doing all the nerfs and stuff. They're not actually fixing the game anywhere near as fast. Yeah, they said it's a little bit tougher, but so what? They should have had stuff ready. The game shouldn't have even launched in that state. But they said they need to get more data, more feedback about the things that are severely broken and fix them. It should never have been that case in the first place. And they should have plenty of feedback within the first week of launch because it was so bad. And then there was another thing that popped up. And this one really, I got angry looking at it because I was considering buying this game. Oddworld Soulstorm. It came out on PlayStation, I think it was PlayStation and PC. Okay, I found it. So Oddworld Soulstorm, they were celebrating that the game's now out for PC and PlayStation. This was day one after the launch of the game. This is a brand new game, also had delays and stuff as far as I'm aware, but released and I was considering it, and then I clicked on this to see what people are saying about it, and someone goes, I'm loving it so far, but there are a few bugs in the game. And then someone else goes, really enjoying it so far, but quite a few bugs to report, so I think I'll revisit after a few patches. Then someone goes, unfortunately, your latest patch seems to have broken the game even more. There are now no animations, the AI now do not move, and there are a lot of other issues. So that's 2 games in the matter of a week that have released that are expensive games, because Outriders, besides the people on Game Pass on Xbox, Outriders cost £60. Oddworld Soulstorm, if I look at its price on PC, it's available on Epic Games, and it has a £40 price tag. So those 2 games are going to set you back £100. Both of them have bugs. Both of them have a lot of bugs, some that are really bad to actually experience, and they are full releases. This stuff is not acceptable that we are seeing within the gaming industry, and just to put kind of an example on how much money actually goes into this and why people should start growing a backbone, stand up for what they're spending their money on, regardless of the usual thing I say where it's like ordering a car with no engine. You buy both Outriders and Oddworld Soulstorm, that sets you back £100. You times that by anywhere between 6 and maybe 10. So you buy 12 to 20 games and you are setting yourself back the money it actually costs to buy a car. You can buy a real life car that will take you from A to B, that can be used as transport and stuff. You can buy a car for the price of less than like 15 games. Depending on where you're getting the car from, you can buy a whole car with it. So if you buy just say in your lifetime, say you're quite young, you buy 20 games that are full price £60 games. That's £1,200. There is a lot you can buy with that money. And there is another thing that I would like to talk about as well, and that's with a game that's a couple of years old now, and that's Borderlands 3. And I've been playing it. Well, I say been playing it. I played it a little bit when there was a few issues consecutively with Outriders, and me and Pete got annoyed. We jumped onto Borderlands 3. I paid £90 and I purchased the Super Deluxe Edition. At the time, that was the biggest edition available for the game. I got with that the Season Pass. There were some other things I got. Basically, I thought I was getting the whole package. And then, when I played the game, I had a weapon drop. This weapon was really, really powerful, and if I used an ability or a skill, it would boost my weapon damage by a further 150%, so it would go from overpowered to being crazy powerful. And I had a look, and Pete even helped me because I couldn't find this skill, so I thought I would turn to Google and find out. That skill is locked to a 4th skill tree that is available in the game, only if you purchase a £12 DLC. Or you can pick yourself up the Season Pass, the second one, for £25. The thing that's annoying about that is you can also, for £85, so £5 cheaper than what I paid, you can get the Ultimate Edition, which not only comes with Season Pass 2 and a load of other packs, it comes with Season Pass 1 as well. So for £5 less than what I paid, yes, granted it's years later, but for £5 less than what I paid, people will get more content in the game. I paid £90, which is probably like $120 or something, for a game that I get less content on than what people were paying less for now. My problem with it is not that it's gone cheaper, because that just happens naturally. It's the fact that 2 years later or something, they are releasing different editions of the game. You should only ever have launch editions. So you have standard, gold, ultimate, or whichever editions you want to call them. You should have several different editions of the game at launch. That should be it. You should not be able to then go and sell people and a brand new edition of the game that comes with everything that the original editions come with, plus more. There should only be the DLC purchase. So everyone should have to pay the same amount at launch, or however much the game costs now due to sales and stuff. And then you have to pay £12 for the DLC, or £25 for the Season Pass. I don't agree with new editions coming out for games that are years old. Even though you are waiting years, you're still getting a better deal. And you should always have the best deals at launch because you want to make the most launch money, you want to make your profits. And some of you might disagree with me on that one, but I mean, you could disagree with me for the whole thing, it's your own opinions. But I don't think games should release new editions of the same game that were available years ago to buy. So that's Borderlands 3. I've been locked out of using basically like a buff on a weapon because I don't have a DLC that I paid £90 when the game first came out. I should have been granted access to Season Pass 2 when it became available, in my opinion. But I lost out on 150% extra weapon damage because of that. Outriders, so glad it was on Game Pass, so I saved myself a bit of money, but there was a lot of people that paid £60 and had a really bad experience. Then you have Oddworld Soulstorm, that's come out full of bugs as well. An update to fix them actually made it worse, which seems to be the case with a lot of games nowadays. Then you have Borderlands 3 locking you out of using certain things unless you buy DLC. And then also, I'm looking at a sale, and this isn't really a moaning thing within the industry, it just doesn't make sense at all. And I'm saying this because my goal is to save people money, to stop companies taking advantage of their consumers and just doing everything to make as much profit as they possibly can. For an example, free-to-play games eventually selling editions that come with these extra skins that cost £20 or £30. Basically, one example was Fishing Planet, free-to-play for years. They did try and use microtransactions to make money, fair enough, free-to-play. But then years later, I think it was 5 or 6 years after, they released Fishing Planet the Fisherman or something like that. And it was a £50 game. All you got on top of the free-to-play version of the game was a couple of boats to use and a few missions you could do at some of the lakes and ponds and rivers and stuff that you fished at. So you do need to start being careful. And another thing is FIFA 21. I'm in the store, I'm looking through games, possibly going to purchase a new game to play. Pete has just recently bought both of us Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, the remastered versions. And I'm looking through the store and I see FIFA 21. And I see that the Ultimate Edition is 75% off, from £90 down to £22.50. So I have a look and it says you can compare editions. So you can have a look at the sales across all editions. And the standard edition of the game is the most expensive one to buy right now. FIFA 21 standard edition is £24, is 60% off. FIFA 21 Champions Edition, which I believe is the middle one because the standard is £60 normally, 60% off down to £24. The Champions Edition is normally £80, 80% off down to £16. Then you have the Ultimate Edition, which is originally £90, that's down to £22.50, 75% off. So your best bet to miss out on a little bit of content is to buy the Champions Edition. It's the middle edition and it's the cheapest one by £6.50, but the standard edition of this game is the most expensive. And I know for a fact a lot of people, when they're looking up a game, they won't look at the bigger edition straight away. They'll look at the standard, they'll see the sale, they'll buy it, and they won't know that they could save £8 and get more content for their game. So we need to start paying more attention. We need to start standing up for what we are spending our money on. And we need to hope and pray that things can be done within these AAA companies. I mean, especially the AAA. Some AA companies are quite bad, but the AAA ones seem to be the worst by a long shot. We need to start looking out for it. We need to start saving our money and stop buying products that are going to be really bad. That's what YouTubers are for. There are lots of YouTubers out there that, like me, will tell you exactly how it is, exactly what I think. Yeah, sometimes my opinions and thoughts and stuff will be wrong compared to what other people see. But at the end of the day, if I think something's bad, I will tell you it's going to be bad. There are lots of other YouTubers out there that are similar to what I do. And there are also a lot of people that will brown nose just for sponsorships and stuff. So we are there to buy the games and to, pre-order them and just see what happens with them and let you know how they are. So if you can't make up your own mind, if you're stuck or whatever, then just go to YouTube, go watch some streamers. Just be a little bit more patient with the purchase. Don't necessarily pre-order because there's a hype train building up around the game and there's a big following for it. Because look at what happened with Cyberpunk. That game was made over the course of years and years and years, and I even fell for their trap. They made everything sound really, really good, and the gameplay that they showed us was amazing. And then you could tell from the reviews, the early reviews of the game, that it was going to be really bad because people were saying that they're under NDA, they're not allowed to talk about the console version of the game. And then look at what happens. All those people went out and spent £60 on it or whatever, whichever edition they purchased, and they pretty much couldn't play. It was unplayable on the older generation of the consoles, and it was actually designed for those consoles because game development started way before the next generation of consoles was ever even thought about. And then what happens with that? Sony had enough, and it's been over 100 days, and the game is still not available to purchase on PlayStation for new people because it's that bad. Don't follow hype. Be more patient, be careful with your money because these games are expensive, and the big AAA companies take everyone for granted. They don't care because at the end of the day, their CEO is happy because he's making a profit. Just like how Activision laid off 50 people from one of their studios, and the CEO goes, "Oh no, I think I'll just pocket an extra $220 million. The gaming industry is a mess. People need to start looking out for each other within the gaming communities and stuff, and things need to take a turnaround because it wasn't like this 10, 15 years ago. You would go into a shop, you would purchase a game. I'm going to use Call of Duty Black Ops 1 as an example. You go buy that game, you get everything in the game. There's no updates weekly and maintenance to fix everything. It all works, and then you literally top up some Microsoft points, you buy your DLC when it's released, and it all works, all tested properly. Nowadays, you don't get anything like that. But on that note, before this is a 45 minutes to an hour sort of conversation, I'm going to leave the video there. I want to know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. If you have any other topics within gaming, let me know and I'll cover them. And I will see you in the next video. And I hope you enjoyed it.